Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to our special episode, Wednesdays, ASAP in the morning. We are back, just like MLB. We had our little mini all-star break here at ASAP, and we're back to give you guys some updated sports advice. And we're going to start it off by introducing my beautiful panel. Right to my left is going to be my right-hand man. Well, to your right, my left, my right-hand man. Well, I don't know how to say this. Your right-hand man, my left-hand man right now, I guess. My boy Jay McLovin. My daddy, Jay McLovin. Jay, what's going on, daddy?
I'm good. I'm using both hands. Life is good. I can't complain. Your boy Stanton, I'm gonna give him props. He got the MVP last night. So I know you're riding the high, but again, double hitters tomorrow. So enjoy the high, cause come tomorrow, you're my enemy, and we go to war.
Jay, I'm enjoying the high from John and Carlos Stanton winning MVP. I'm enjoying the high from me rolling this blunt up, and I'm gonna enjoy the high tomorrow when I'm gonna be smoking that good shit on that double header, and then I'm also gonna be high at the end when you're gonna be crying because I'm gonna be on Unscripted tomorrow talking my shit.
But how did you like my Talladega Nights reference of "We Go to War" with when Ricky Bobby was faced by the Pierre? I'm just saying. Y'all notice my subtle references. I've been giving y'all some movie lines and y'all ain't picking up on it. Like Jonathan Matthews over there still trying to figure out "We Go to War." What is he saying? I'm just whatever.
Well, for Jonathan, you gotta speak to him, and his favorite food reference is, John, tell me, did you just love crab cakes? What's going on, John? How you doing over there in the sunshine state of LA?
What's going on, fellas? I hope you guys enjoyed the All-Star game yesterday, and you guys were able to see our lovely weather, how beautiful it was yesterday. It didn't get dark until the game ended, which was pretty cool for most of you guys living on the East Coast. But, it was a great game. It's an exhibition game. I didn't really care who won the damn game. I just wanted to see great competition. And, I guess you could say we got somewhat great competition watching that game. But I'm good this morning. Glad to be back on, as always. Got my morning coffee to fill me up, so I'm feeling great.
Yeah, I'm really convinced that you're a little upset because the NL lost, and not only did the NL lose, they lost in your stadium of the LA Dodgers. And I have a real strong feeling deep down in your stomach. You're like, damn, the LA couldn't even win.
As a Dodger fan, I'm used to having my heart broken when they play at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers lost to the opposing team on their home field at least 3 times. They lost to the Astros in the World Series, Game 7. They lost to the Nationals a couple years ago on their home field. So it's nothing new. It's not surprising.
And with us is our boy. He likes to keep it peace and friendly. Our guy, Reverend Rob. What's going on, Rob? You're muted.
My bad. I'm up here working while I'm talking. But what's going on, man? You'll be surprised to know I caught a little bit of the All-Star game last night.
Yes, man is growing up.
It was pretty good. I caught the earlier home run. Nice double play I saw, and I have to agree with Stat Guy. I actually was very interested when I saw one of the pitchers mic'd up and what he was doing and the motions he was going through as he was throwing out strikes and listening to what he's looking for and things like that. So that was pretty interesting. It kind of piqued my interest in baseball a little bit. So I guess that's one win for MLB, right?
That's right. Stat guy, correct me if I'm wrong. The pitcher he's talking about, is that nasty Nestor Cortez?
It's either him or it's Alek Manoah, because Alek Manoah was calling John Smoltz sexy.
Yeah, it was Alex Manoah who was.
I know he's a bigger. He was a bigger guy.
Yeah, that's Manoah.
Yeah,
Alek
definitely
Manoah,
Nestor. Smoke.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Frankie,
that's Alek Manoah when he called John Smoltz sexy for calling a backdoor or a back foot slider.
But you know what, Stat Guy? I have to say, like, just listening to what he was doing, he was like, yeah, I'm going to hit him up top again. I'm going to see if he's going to bite on it. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get him right there, right in the strike zone. So it was cool. I'm like, wow, you didn't realize, pitchers control that much of the game. They know exactly what they want. These are not random throws they're throwing out. They're knowing right. It's all a mind game. It's all a mind game, and I respect the mind game. So, shout out to baseball. It was a good, to me, it was one of the better All-Star games out of any of the All-Star games from the leagues. I think it was a little bit more competition. You can see guys were serious, especially when the inning started getting a little tighter. So it was a pretty good All-Star game.
That's because it was in Hollywood. You had all the stars on display. It was here in LA.
Yeah,
couldn't get any better than that.
Hey, and then them giving a tribute to Jackie Robinson, having Denzel come out there. It was all a beautiful thing, man. And of course, hearing the admiration for Clayton Kershaw, of course, Mr. Dodger himself. So, great All-Star game. And Jonathan, your city hosted it with grace, baby.
Yeah. Stats guy, what's going on, brother? How you doing today?
Doing very well, Frankie. Hope everyone enjoyed the All-Star game. I think it's time to move away from All-Star games eventually, just because outside of baseball, I don't think anyone takes it really too serious anymore.
It's about the same as a Pro Bowl, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No.
It's the same as a Pro Bowl.
No, the Pro Bowl is a little bit worse.
Couple of days.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying the Pro Bowl is a little worse, but I'm saying in terms of the value that it means to the game. I mean, it's just for fun and shits and giggles. There's no weight attached to it. There's no anything meaningful attached to the season or whatever. Like, in other words, the All-Star game doesn't determine who's going to get home field advantage in the World Series or something of that nature. It's just a fun-filled, fan-driven type thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a charity event.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, yeah.
It's a popularity contest.
Because let's be honest, if it was anything more than that, we're not letting fans vote who's going to make the All-Star game. We're going to take stats and things like that more into consideration. I mean, and it had weight to it. But the fact that it's fan-driven, which it should be fan-driven, because that's how you increase the popularity of the sport. So I get that. I mean, and baseball, for the love of God, needs all the help it can get to increase its popularity.
Right. Well, I just want to start off with some heat and say that I really hope Jay McLovin and his Houston Astros fan base did not steal any of the catcher signings from last night's All-Star game, because they didn't have the mechanic sign calling that we see during the regular season. They were going old school last night with the hand signals and stuff. And Jay,
it's interesting though. It's interesting that I don't think the Astros did, but there was a lot of cell phone sightings within the Yankees organization, players that was at the All-Star game. But don't worry, because Rob Manfred is going to release another letter to Brian Cashman about that scenario. So the Yankees, we're going to wait to find out what exactly their implications were at the All-Star break, especially when Cortez and Trevino were playing, as well as a few others. So stay tuned for more on that.
Right. Jay, can you remind me, though, who was the manager for the AL?
Oh, it's Dusty Baker, baby. Oh, dang.
Oh, okay. So you're telling me your manager was asking my pitchers what he was throwing, right?
No, he was asking your pitcher. No, he was asking your pitcher to watch the other pitchers of the NL and relay it back via cell phone.
No, that's not what he was doing. He's just writing down old school, the science of it. So, when Thursday's doubleheader come, he knows what we're going to be bringing. Let's start it off. Jonathan, what was your favorite part of the All-Star break? I understand, Rob Scott, you're not a huge baseball fan. We'll change it up in a minute for you. But I want to get the guys' perspective on what they thought of this weekend's All-Star, from the celebrity softball game all the way to the regular MLB All-Star game. What was your favorite?
Well, I'm going to be a homer here, and I'm going to say my favorite moment was seeing Clayton Kershaw start the game. And I know a lot of people felt he wasn't the most deserving to start the All-Star game, but he had been selected 9 times to this All-Star game, and he has never started an All-Star game. And it was just quite fitting to see him starting the game. With it being here in LA, the host Dodgers were able to make that happen. So I really enjoyed seeing him start out the game. And then I liked what John Carlos Stanton did. This is a guy who's from LA. He grew up going to Dodger games. And, it was on the biggest stage here in Hollywood. And he hits the homer. Not only does he hit the homer, but he also wins the MVP after the game. So those were my 2 coolest moments in the game. And I guess you could throw in there that Byron Buxton hit the homer as well. This is a guy who's gone through so much in his baseball career. This is a guy who couldn't stay healthy, couldn't stay on the field. And to see him in the All-Star game, I mean, that was just a great honor for him to be able to finally get to the All-Star game and make something happen in this All-Star game. He goes deep in the All-Star game. I mean, who would have expected that from a guy like Buxton? It was just an amazing event. I mean, I know it doesn't count. It's a meaningless game, but it still was exciting to see a great collection of talent on display. It was a wonderful game.
Yep.
Jay, that question goes to you as well, Jay. What was your favorite part of the All-Star this weekend?
The All-Star game was interesting in a lot of different ways. First of all, I am going to give props to Kershaw. I mean, he did well. And his in the first inning he pitched, I believe he got a strikeout. So, and everybody did pretty well. So, again, good job on him. Again, good job on Framber Valdez. And Class A, striking out the side to close out the game, I thought was just phenomenal the way he pitched. And so, in terms of pitching, I thought those guys did an excellent job. In terms of hitting, I was a little torn on the whole on the MVP part, only because of the fact that Stanton came up with that big 2-run shot, which got them on the board. No doubt about how huge that was. But you got to also think that Buxton's home run was equally as important because it put them over the top. So, I mean, when it came down to the MVP for that, I mean, I could see a vote for either one of those guys because both of their home runs, in my opinion, were equally as important. So I almost kind of thought there might have been a co-MVP in that just because of how important both of their home runs were. But again, Stan, no shout out against Stan. Hey, he got the MVP. I don't have an issue with it. But I think that Buxton's home run as well, in my opinion, was just as equal to the value of what Stanton brought to the game as well. But again, hey, man, good job all the way around. It was good to see those home runs. It was good to see the pitching, as good as the pitching was, especially, like I said, from Class A, striking out the 9th inning and retiring the side. It was just amazing. Good baseball, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. It would have been fun to see co-MVPs. But then again, Jay, he did get the home run, but it like I said to you yesterday, if Giancarlo Stanton did not get the 2-run homer, the AL would have lost the game 2-1. So, I mean, it's pretty grateful that Giancarlo got it. Plus, he's been in this league for a long time, and he's never won the MVP for the All-Star. He hasn't been.
I don't have a problem with Giancarlo winning the MVP. I mean, like I said, I'm okay with that. I'm just saying that MVP was. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they both were just amazing. They both had importance in their own way. But
right. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm just saying the reason why I think Giancarlo got it was because if it wasn't for his 2-run homer, then the AL would have definitely lost that game 2-1. Because if Giancarlo would have got struck out or
hey, who was on base? Just for curiosity, who was on base when he hit the home run? I forgot who that was.
I think it was the guy from Toronto, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Could he share in that co-MVP with Stan? Because if he didn't get that base hit, Stan couldn't knock him home. I'm just saying. Throw that out there.
No, he ain't getting shit.
He want to share some of that glory.
And it just had to be Tony Gosselin who gave up those back-to-back homers.
Well, and that's crazy, right? Now he should be the worst. Like if you have an MVP, it should be like least valuable player. There should be an LVP. You have an MVP and an LVP.
I just hope that doesn't shrink his confidence going into the second half of the season.
Man, I doubt it. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal for him. Because there wasn't like a whole lot of weight on that pitching thing. But again, I can see what you're saying because it is still kind of a big stage. But I think that boy will be just fine. He'll be all right. Toronto ain't going nowhere anyway, so nobody cares.
Stat guy, what was your favorite All-Star on this break? Your All-Star day.
My favorite All-Star thing, and it's going to be my favorite forever, is the Home Run Derby. That's the one thing that I will literally sit and watch start to finish every single year. And then the celebrity softball game is like right behind it, just because of how funny that game ends up being, and how just like crazy it ends up being. And you just see like Hunter Pence, for example, he's hated by Dodger fans so much. First at bat, he not only leaves the softball fence, but nearly puts it out of the entirety of the field, and just kind of brings back his moments when he was killing the Dodgers. And then you had David Ortiz and Vlad Guerrero and all these guys just like. It looked like the Field of Dreams when the players came out of the cornfield, like Vlad Guerrero and David Ortiz came out of the dugout, came out of nowhere to play in a softball game, which is something they would have never have done when they were actually players. So those are the two events that I like way more than the game itself.
What I liked about the Celebrity All-Star game was my boy Guillermo from the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. He was like it was funny. Tomorrow. He was on the panel drinking tequila. He was drinking tequila. My man did not care. He was handing tequila out to the rest of the team on the that was representing LA. Like, he's amazing. And then at the end of it, when the actor, I forgot his name, I think it's Cranston or something like that. The actor got a wild call. It should have been. It honestly should have been a ball, but they ended up calling him a strike three looking, and he got in the umpire's face, kicking him in the dirt like he's one of the managers and stuff like that. Then he comes back out, Jay. He comes back out with a bucket of bubble gum and he throws it at the umpire. How amazing is that to just come out and throw a bucket of bubble gum at the umpire and then get tossed? Who gets tossed at the celebrity softball game? It was amazing.
You know what's interesting, Frankie, is I think you and Guillermo have a lot in common. It's almost like when I hear you talk about Guillermo, it's like you're talking about yourself. I actually want you to change your name. Instead of Frankie the Yankee, I just want you to put Guillermo 2.0.
No, I'll put Guillermo 2.0 for my regular self. Frankie the Yankee is a total different gimmick that just makes people cry and loves to do it.
I just want to see Guillermo 2.0 underneath your name from now on. Because you do act a lot like Guillermo. You really honestly do.
That guy. I know that the home run derby was one of your favorite moments, but I also got to say, from my standpoint and Jay's standpoint, it was also our favorite point in All-Star break as well. Because if those of you who are watching us right now, Stat Guy is one of our, literally, he's the brains of ASAP. He knows every numbers. He crunches down. He knows everything. And for the first time ever, me and Jay got to witness Stat Guy be wrong. He picked Kyle Swerver to win the home run derby, and he got eliminated in the first round by good old Albert Pujols. Yeah, what amazing.
Wait, Albert Pujols was in the Final Four, right? I know I just popped in.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, he was in the Final Four.
Yeah, he
lost to Juan Soto.
Hey, shout out to, what's his name, Rodriguez?
Yeah.
I was like, Lord Jesus, this man is a home run machine. I've been watching, y'all. I've been watching.
And he's only 21 years old.
I think he just ran out of steam. When it came down to him and Juan Soto, I just think Rodriguez just ran out of steam.
It really came down to timing, though, because he had more home runs than Soto. It's just that he didn't bat first.
I don't know. I know he produced it every damn round until that last one, and then it was just it didn't even look like the first 2 rounds. It looked like a normal average, home run hitter when he got to round 3. He was kind of normalized.
Right, he was on. He
was like a freak at the beginning.
Yeah, he was on pace to make history.
As a matter of fact, if I remember right, Soto had 31 home runs in round 3, didn't he? I mean, Soto put up a pretty big round in round 3, didn't he?
I think he did. Yeah, Yeah, I think in the 3rd round was his best round.
Yeah, I believe it was his best round.
So let's get it down, guys. The All-Star break is over. We're all getting a day off today. No baseball, nothing going on. We have a doubleheader tomorrow between the Astros and the Yankees. I can't wait for that one because me and Jay's going to be heated. If you guys are watching right now, please tune in tomorrow at Unscripted, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to be a little bit late. Jay already knows this. I'm going to be a little bit late because I'm watching my nephew and stuff like that till 7:30 p.m. But I'm going to be going in there.
That's unexcusable.
Oh no, it's.
But hey, you know what I'm really kind of upset about right now is the fact that neither the Yankees nor the Astros have released what pitchers are going to be in 1 and 2.
Yeah,
like it's still anybody's chance.
Because we have pitchers in the All-Star, so like I'm pretty sure they wanted to see like what they want to do. Garrett Cole was in the All-Star. He didn't even pitch last night, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't see Garrett Cole on the field at one.
Yeah, neither him nor Verlander pitched. They both took that game off. They said they were.
Guess what, Jay? You answered your own question. That's who's going to pitch Thursday.
Verlander will be.
Verlander and Cole.
He's not pitching Thursday. Cole's definitely not pitching Thursday. He can't. I don't know if he can.
Ohtani, he took the night off too because he's pitching right after the All-Star game. He's pitching Thursday, I believe, for the Angels, or Friday, whenever they play again.
Nobody cares about Ohtani. Nobody cares about the Angels. Just let them sit there.
I love Ohtani.
That's the only reason to care about the Angels.
I know. I'm just saying it's because of the Angels that we don't care about Ohtani because they're so far down there. Like even though as great as Ohtani is, he's still with the fucking Angels.
No, Jay's just saying that because he talks so much trash about Ohtani every time they face Ohtani.
No, I'm being realistic. Like, and that's what I hate about the situation that Ohtani and Trout are in. Like I've said it before, man, they're just stuck in purgatory with the Angels. To where it's like no matter how great they are, their team just drags them down.
Yeah, Ohtani, but the fans love Ohtani.
Oh yeah, I mean, what's there not to love about the guy? I mean, he pitches great, he hits great. He just has to
love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the reception that the crowd gave him, and and I was listening to that. The baseball crowd is very biased. You guys like who you like.
Oh yeah. And that's why, and Rob, that's why sometimes I feel bad for Jay because he's a Houston Astros fan. Literally,
nobody likes
Tucker.
Astros.
No, Tucker went up to the plate to bat, and he was just getting straight booed.
They booed the roster when they was announcing the All-Stars.
Yeah,
they booed the Giants too. They booed the Giants players too.
Well, obviously, they're gonna boo the Giants.
We
that's
hate the Giants out here. We can't stand that team. And we got a 4-game series.
That's like a crosstown rivalry or something, right?
Yeah, that's our rivals.
Is that like a Cubs White Sox type ordeal?
Yes. It's kind of like a Yankees Mets type shit. Yep. It's kind of like Houston Texas Rangers type.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Thursday is so the show comes on at 7, and we will literally be 1 game plus 20 minutes in the second game before me and Frankie really kind of go at it. So it's going to be interesting. One of us is going to be really upset. I'm telling you, losing that first game, and depending on how you're playing that first 20 minutes, there's going to be some emotions. And I hope Frankie's able to cope with, Guillermo-like emotions.
I tell you right now, Jay, I'm not pride. I won't be running away and I won't be hiding. I take my shit.
Wait, is Frankie coming at pride?
Bro,
yeah, man. Listen.
I've been coming at pride. I've been coming at
champion split up.
No.
Hey, but by the same token, I'm not gonna hide either. Hey, if my team doesn't do well, I'll take the smoke. Hey, that's what I love about baseball. Hey man, it's anybody's game, and anybody can win that shit.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, Jay. If we lose game 1, I'm coming in Guillermo, drunk Guillermo. I'm gonna be drunk because if we lose game 1, that just solidifies me coming out saying, "Damn, the Houston Astros do own the Yankees this year." Because that if the Yankees win the second game, it's not gonna matter because Houston's gonna beat the Yankees this year 4-3. So. I need the Yankees to win game 1 so it can make it interesting for game 2.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be satisfied with the split. If Yankees Astros, if they split the doubleheader, I'll still be satisfied, but it's not going to be as enjoyable as if we were able to take both games. If we take both games, I would be over-jubilated. I would be beyond drunk Guillermo. I don't even know what that would look like. It may involve stomach pumps, CPS. It may involve emergency firefighters, maybe some fire trucks. I don't know what it's going to look like. But it's not. It's gonna be. It may be, me doing, old school Hank the Tank running with a quad, butt naked with nobody behind me, and the wife in the car saying, "Jay, there's nobody behind you. Well, we're going to the quad."
I would say Denzel did it, but just because of his acting prowess, and he just has the voice for it.
He did a good job. I thought Denzel was excellent.
The voice for it.
Yeah.
The skill as an actor to give you the right. He's the new Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, he is kind of taking over that spot, isn't he?
Right. No, he has that voice for a narrator.
But how about Rachel Robinson, man? She made it to 100. I mean, that's just incredible, man. The fact that she made it to 100. I mean, damn.
Hey, now can I ask you guys this question? Do you worry about the popularity of baseball? Because when they showed an aerial view of that crowd, you saw some empty seats. And you don't
because it's Dodger Stadium. Those fans don't get there till the fourth inning because of LA traffic.
Okay. No, but it is, and I've said that before. No, Rob, but that's a serious. You make a good point when we talked about that several times, even on Unscripted, we brought that up. Is the fact that it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in the African American population, baseball has declined rapidly.
It has
rapidly.
It definitely has. I mean, like I said, when I was growing up as a kid, there were a lot of little leagues.
Yeah.
I mean, my church had a little league. I remember little leagues at park districts and things like that. And now I look at the youth. There are a lot of basketball camps.
Yeah, there is.
Football camps. I see a lot of football camps, but I don't really hear about baseball anymore. And to me, I feel like baseball kind of lost its momentum in Chicago after the whole Jackie Robinson team debacle, where they took away the championship from them little boys. They didn't want to play anymore. They didn't want to play anymore.
But that's the thing, though. If I'm Rob Manfred or whoever the new commissioner is, or even the commissioner before Rob Manfred, because it really kind of started before Rob Manfred even got, at that level. I'm pulling my strategies together, and I'm saying, hey, look, there is a demographic of the U.S. that is not, that we're declining on, that we're losing out on. And we need to figure out a way how to make baseball relevant to that demographic. I don't know how we would do it. If we do it, you got to figure out some kind of way to market it or do something. Get back in these communities, like you said, Rob, get these leagues back in these churches or, figure out ways to do that if they want to recapture the popularity like the NFL and the NBA is doing.
Yeah, I just asked because if you look at the All-Star game in the NBA, those stadiums are packed.
Yeah.
But
we can see it forever.
Is not really competitive at all until you get to like the third, fourth, maybe fourth quarter. I won't even say third. But if you look at baseball, I just saw from that aerial view, and I was like, wow, it's a lot of empty seats there. You know what I mean? And that was and it brought attention to me as a person that's not a huge baseball fan. It's a lot of people that think like me, and really not into the sport.
But let me ask you this though, Rob. Think about it, and to your point, it really is specifically to your point about the church, the leagues, disappearing and things like that.
Yeah,
it's like if you look at the draft. How many African American players are in the draft? Right. I'm not talking about the Dominican and those types of African American. I'm talking about American-born African American players. How many are in the draft?
Yeah, you got a great point.
Count on your fingers.
Well, like Rob said, if you think about it now in today's youth, they don't focus their kids on playing baseball. They focus their kids nowadays on playing basketball. So when they're growing up, they're focused on being in the NBA draft rather than being in the MLB draft. Back in the day, where we used to see actually in the excuse my language, but back in the day from the Negro League, they segregated them into the MLB. So like they were actually in the MLB. Nowadays, it's like kids are going to go play in the NBA because that's more of their type of style of sport and what their parents are teaching them.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that because
Frankie, you said nothing wrong saying Negro. I just wanted you to know that.
All you need,
but there's people out there that probably felt wrong.
But here's the thing,
you
guys.
Said nothing wrong as a black man. Negro is the politically correct term. So I just wanted you to know that, brother. Thank you for that, Frankie.
Wait, here's the thing, too, Rob. Basketball is more affordable for a lot of the young kids in the black community, and it's the game that they're introduced to from an early age.
Yeah.
Jonathan, that's a great.
But you know, hey,
That's
but you know what I really think?
Jonathan, because they were actually talking about that, and I was listening to that. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But it seems like baseball has kind of pushed the demographic by making things so expensive that black folks are like, I'm not paying all that money for my kid to play
Hell,
baseball.
even most
And
white
I could
folks
just,
are.
and I could just put them in Pop Warner.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah. And that's the thing, though, right? Because and that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that maybe because the process of getting from the minors to the Major League Baseball and how long that can take is a deterrent because they know they're not getting paid as much? Or do you think it's the fact that if you go to college, the scholarships for baseball players aren't there like it is for the NBA or for basketball and football? I mean, I think a lot of times, and I don't blame them at all. If you're in a lower demographic type community and you're trying to get out of that and catapult yourself into something, the NBA and the NFL is a faster track to get back, on that plan. Whereas if you're trying to go the baseball route, it's a hell of a lot longer journey, and you're going to have to live with the low pay of the minor leagues. And so I think that could be a deterrent a lot of times for, like you said, for people trying to go that route because it just takes too damn long to see the paycheck. Whereas like an NBA, the NFL, or even in college football and college basketball with the NIL, now with giving those guys money at that level, it's just more enticing because the journey isn't quite as long or hard.
You have to also remember that baseball is also the toughest sport to play.
I get that. I get that too. I'm not saying that it's not a tough sport and why that there shouldn't be a process to get there. But what I'm saying is I think because it is so hard, like you said, and the journey is so long, that sometimes it's a deterrent to most people who are trying to get to that level of financial stability quicker.
Hey Jay, I'll say this.
Right.
I'll say this. Dustin, you're right. Because I've watched college baseball games before, and then I was watching the guys last night, and I watched professional baseball. Guys in the professional, when you're a professional baseball player, you are 1,000 miles ahead of guys that's not there professionally. But I will also say this: speaking as an African American, we don't have stars we can relate to in baseball. And I think that's one of the biggest problems. When I was growing up, you had the Barry Bonds, you had the Ken Griffey Jr.'s, you had the Frank Thomases of the world. Like you had stars where you can put your face there and say, that can be me. Nowadays, either you're Caucasian or you're Hispanic.
That's because baseball is no longer America's pastime. As much as people want to call it that, baseball is now the Latin American pastime because that is where 70% of professional baseball players come from are Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, and Mexico, like all these Latin American countries where that is literally the only sport they do because all they really need is a stick and a ball and they can go play in the middle of the road for 12 months out of the year. These kids, when you look at, I don't know how close – Jonathan, I don't know how close you pay attention to the minor leagues. Frankie, Jay, I don't know how close you pay attention to the minor leagues. But you have the Dominican Summer League, which is like the rookie feeder program before you get to like the full season leagues.
Yep.
There's 14 or 15-year-old players that are playing in that league right now. So you're a professional baseball player at 14 years old in the Dominican Republic because you can start playing baseball at such a young age down there. That's what those kids do. And that's why it's gotten away from America's pastime and it's gone to that Latin American and Caribbean route because in America, you have to go through high school before you can even get drafted by the Major League Baseball. So you have to be at least 18, 19 before you can get drafted. If you're an international free agent, you can get drafted at 14, 15 years old and start playing immediately.
All right. Well, I mean, it's still good. I mean, it's weird to me because it is. If you think about it, it's crazy that, we went from having, the Negro League, which was lots of African Americans playing the game of baseball, to now we're down to, like you said, a fraction of American-born African American players. I mean, and to go from a whole league to just a fraction, I mean, it's crazy.
Right, like you could name them: Tim Anderson, Mookie Betts.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many. There's not many.
You could pretty much name them.
Michael Brantley, for the Astros, we still, we have Michael Brantley, but that's about it. Everybody else is some form of Dominican or Puerto Rican or Hispanic, some Latin-based player.
Right. Mets pitcher too, Walker. He's African American. He's half.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have to really think hard.
Like even in the All-Star game, you had my boy from the White Sox
Tim
and
Anderson.
Betts, Mookie Betts, and then you look up, it really wasn't, you know. And I'm not saying I don't want to use the word representation because it's not like if they didn't want to be there, they would be there. But what I'm saying is, it's not as popular in our community anymore.
It's not. And that's what I'm saying. If I'm the commissioner, I've got to figure out a way to re-engage the African American populace to get them back into the game. Because honestly, that really is the biggest thing to get that sport back to where it needs to be.
Hey Jay, I have a suggestion. Actually, I think they should get more involved in the African American community.
Absolutely, absolutely.
If you look at NFL, if you look at NBA, these guys are in these hoods. Like Steven Jackson was just an O Block. Steven Jackson came to O Block, and as much as the reputation as O Block has in Chicago, he was out there kicking it with these guys, shooting free throws. You know, now there's a kid that's on that basketball court that's probably laughing and having fun, but he's looking like, man, I want to be in the NBA now. I want to be able to come back to my hood and give inspiration to another kid like myself. You don't see MLB players coming out to these little league games.
Well, yeah, which is why Rob Manfred needs to have meetings with these owners, and the owners need to have meetings with these players. And like you said, to your point, they need to get these players out into the communities, talking about the sport, showing the sport, representing the sport, and so you can do something about it.
There is certain players that are out there doing that. I mean, for instance,
but to Rob's point, it's not as many. I mean, come on, I can turn on the TV every day and see a charity or some NBA player or NFL player doing something in the community. I mean, I can turn it all the time. I very rarely see that too much with baseball.
Right. And did you guys see Mookie Betts' shirt yesterday?
Yeah.
No, I did not. What was his shirt?
His shirt, it was a graphic tee that said, "We need more black people at the stadium."
Yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you, that demographic is really why baseball is just not as popular. I mean, let's be honest. African Americans make up a large part of the populace, and when you lose that populace or you lose that segment, how can you? That's why hockey. Let's be honest. That's why hockey is not really all that important because there's not a huge, African American interest in that sport, and that's why it's there, but it's not where it could be.
And they also do a poor job at marketing their brand as well.
He's not, Jay, he's not saying it about the sport. Mookie Betts was wearing that shirt for the stadium of Dodgers. He's a LA Dodgers. The All-Star was in Dodger Stadium. He's saying that for the state of LA. They need more black people in that stadium.
Either way, he's doing something.
Hey, it didn't say Dodgers on there, though. It said at the stadium.
At the stadium. What stadium were they at?
Dodger Stadium.
Exactly. But he was saying it for the city of LA because you are one of the 15% black people in LA right now.
But you know what though? Interestingly enough, even when I go to Minute Maid, like last time when I was at Minute Maid Park, I did not see a lot of African Americans in the stands. I saw a lot of Hispanics and I saw a lot of white people, but I did not see a lot of black people at all in the stands.
Again, just like LA, Jay, just like LA, Houston is not filled with state filled with African American people. LA is a state of. I'm serious.
You don't tell me Texas don't have a lot of black people.
Texas has African Americans, but it's not filled with African Americans. Kind of like Chicago or New York or certain places. Houston, Texas is more of like like you said, Mexicans, Hispanics, and stuff like that. Or white people, cowboys and stuff like that. You don't see a bunch of black people like that in Texas or in LA. And LA is filled with white people, actors and stuff like that, rich people. Like it's not like that.
I don't know, man. We got I tell you what, Houston has really changed a lot since when I was a kid in terms of demographic. I mean, there's a pretty even balance of, I think, of all mixes. I mean, there's everything there now. I mean, I almost want to say Houston kind of reminds me of New York because it's almost become that type of melting pot. I mean, literally, you can see every nationality you want. I mean, it's pretty eclectic mix.
You know what? Fuck this shit. New York is getting taken over by Afghanis. The hell with that. I'm just gonna say it right now. Every time I walk outside my door, there's a new freaking landlord and shit like that. He's Afghanistan. I'm sorry, but they can stop in New York.
Man,
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm going full out on that shit. I don't give a damn.
Well,
I wanna ask my 100% inside source. Yo, stat guy, is Damian true about this question about Sean Payton announcing that he's coming out of retirement to probably coach the Dallas Cowboys? Sorry, Jay.
yeah, you watch your damn mouth over there.
It's just that inner inside me. It always comes out and it says that. I'm sorry. Let me be professional and say Cowboys.
Yes and no, if that makes sense. Sean Payton is not unretiring this year, but he has said that if he unretires, the only job he is taking is that Dallas job.
Oh, so he wants to be like
which leads me to believe that Mike McCarthy is probably going to be on the hot seat from day one
He needs to be on the hot seat
this year, and if he's on the hot seat from day one, that pretty much guarantees that Sean Payton is either going to be hired by the Cowboys this year as some sort of a coach, whether it's a special teams coordinator again, whether it's a senior offensive assistant or something like that, and then if they part ways with McCarthy this year, then they just hand the job over to him because Jerry Jones loves Sean Payton, and that was the one coach that he never wanted to get rid of in Dallas, but you can't block a coach from interviewing for a head coaching opportunity.
I'll tell you what. Good Lord, if we ever get Sean Payton, I would be happy. I want the Sean Payton from the Saints. I don't want Sean Payton to come to the Cowboys and then Jerry Jones, tries to dictate on, this. I want Sean Payton to stand up and be the stand-up coach and say, this is the way we're going to do it, not Jerry Jones' way. I really hope we get that version of Sean Payton because that's what we need.
There's only one version of Sean Payton.
I would be.
Newsflash: McCarthy was on the hot seat a year ago.
Yeah, he's always on the hot seat. I don't know why he's still there, to be honest with you.
And I disagreed with him being on the hot seat last year because his first year in Dallas, what happens? He loses Dak Prescott and pretty much everybody else on offense that first year and had nothing to work with.
Right. Wasn't that the year Dak broke his leg?
Yeah, you can't really put a coach on the hot seat your first year when pretty much your entire offensive side of the football is on injured reserve by week 8.
Yeah, but his team was the most undisciplined team in football.
Yeah, because look how many rookies were starting that year, though.
Yeah, look how many rookies they had on.
I mean, that year was like a complete. I mean, McCarthy got off to a 5-2 or a 5-3 start that year, and then ended up going 1-7 the rest of the way because of all those injuries. Like, you can't really put a coach on a hot seat when half your team is hurt.
I think
he's more to me. He's always been this. He's a yes man type of coach.
But that's what Jerry Jones wants to hire.
That's what Jerry Jones wants.
Right.
That's what Jerry Jones wants.
Right.
And that's my worst fear is if he does bring in Sean Payton and he agrees to that. I just want Sean Payton to stand his ground and don't become that yes man.
Why do you think Jason Garrett was employed as long as he was in Dallas? Because he was a yes man.
He was a yes man. Oh, he was all about that. Yes.
Jones doesn't want to give up power.
And that's why Jason Garrett was employed as long as he was because
right.
Jerry Jones literally told Jason Garrett to jump, and he would always ask how high.
I think from the standpoint, I would like to see Sean's Payton development on Dak Prescott.
Absolutely.
I think he can.
That's going to be the key piece.
Yes.
Well, you saw how well he did with Jameis when Jameis came to New Orleans to revive his career.
Yes.
He got Jameis back on track.
Yes.
That's the only way that he will show interest in that Dallas job is if Dak Prescott is still there.
Yeah, and we saw even with Drew Brees. Drew Brees had great success with the Chargers, but his success with New Orleans, Drew Brees became a winner. He started to learn how to win under Sean Payton. So I believe that Sean Payton will have a great impact on Dak Prescott. I'm not so much worried about Sean Payton's relationship with Jerry Jones. I think for the most part, if Jerry Jones is bringing in the Sean Payton, he knows to stay the hell out of his way. Let Sean Payton be Sean Payton. Sean Payton has a proven track record. Sean Payton has a Super Bowl ring under his belt. Let Sean Payton be Sean Payton. And let him worry about the development of that team.
Real quick, now that we're talking about this topic, besides Mike McCarthy, what other coach do you guys see that might be on the hot seat if they don't succeed this year? We can't.
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I honestly, If the Buffalo Bills does not make it to the Super Bowl, I think they're going to start looking at the coach.
Oh, I don't.
I think that without a shadow of a doubt, they haven't. They've gotten better every year, but they cannot seem to get over that hump. And I believe now, with you being seen as the favorite, with the love that Josh Allen has been getting, that people right now saying that most people say Josh Allen is the best quarterback in football. And most people are saying that the Buffalo Bills are favored to win it all. So if the Buffalo Bills do not make it to the Super Bowl, if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, I believe that coach is under hot water.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see why you would be in hot water. Especially you brought in Von Miller. You put a few little upgrades in there, which you already had. I mean, there's no reason why that the Buffalo Bills shouldn't be taking that next step forward.
Man, Matt Rule has the warmest.
Matt Rule's got to be on there
coming into the 2022 season. This is going into his third season with the Carolina Panthers, and he's 10-23. It's not a great resume for him. He hasn't really convinced me that he is NFL material. And I think if the Carolina Panthers finish the way they did a year ago, I think he's absolutely out of the door.
Yeah, but is last season really his fault? I mean, yeah, he brought in Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold got hurt. They actually went 3-0 at the start of the season until Sam Darnold, Christian McCaffrey went down first.
That's the key. That's the key. Christian McCaffrey is always hurt.
Exactly. and then he had to deal with the Cam Newton, Mr. I get a touchdown at Atlanta, I'm gonna yell I'm back, but then go 0-5 afterwards. So I don't think it's really his fault. The one coach that's got my eye, and you guys are probably gonna be shocked about this, Baltimore Ravens. Jim Harbaugh.
I thought about that, Frankie. It crossed my mind.
He's been there too long.
Too long. And if this is his year where if he does not succeed, he's done something that caught everybody's eye. He traded away Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
You trade away Lamar Jackson's right hand man and your best weapon in your offense to I forgot which team he went to. Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct? He went to Arizona?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you trade him to Arizona, make them a more competitor, but then you bring yourself down. I understand he's a defensive mind coach, but this is his year where if you're going to trade away Hollywood Brown, then obviously you're telling your organization and your fan base that you guys could do it without a top wide receiver like Hollywood Brown. So I think this is his year to do it with Lamar Jackson. If not, he's gone.
I think they do, though. I mean, we've already talked about that, but I have the Ravens.
No, you think they do. You think they do. We don't. We think Cincinnati's going to do it.
I think the Ravens win that division.
I think Frank Wright in Indianapolis could be on the hot seat if he doesn't start getting more out of the quarterback position, because that's what he was known for in Philadelphia, was a quarterback head coach, and he really, outside of the year that Phillip Rivers had, he really hasn't gotten much out of any of the quarterbacks that he's had under center.
Yeah, I was about to say this is his third quarterback he's going through, right?
Yep. Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, you got to think might be on the hot seat this year now that Baker Mayfield's gone. What is he as a head coach now that Mayfield's not going to be there and now that Watson's probably not going to play?
Oh, Denver.
Well, hold on. I think he gets a pass because it was with the organization that jacked up the Deshaun thing and the Mayfield thing. Well, and now you leave him with Brissett, and now you want to put him on the hot seat. I don't think he goes on the hot seat. I think he gets a reprieve until they see when Deshaun comes back and what he does with Deshaun.
Yeah, I think what Frankie just said too. I think Nathaniel Hackett, just because you brought Nathaniel Hackett to Denver to get Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you fail with Russell Wilson, well then Hackett's got to go. I think Mike McDaniel in Miami could be in the hot seat in one season, mainly because you got rid of Brian Flores because he didn't believe in Tua. Well, you bring in a guy from San Francisco who's supposed to be an offensive-minded head coach. If he doesn't get Tua to succeed, then why did you get rid of Brian Flores in the first place?
And
I don't understand that one either. You got rid of a guy who revived the culture there and who was pointing that team in the right direction. That firing to me was baffling. I just didn't understand it.
He was undefeated versus Bill Belichick, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the two coaches that might surprise you for my last two, Brandon Staley in Los Angeles, I think, could be on the hot seat if he has the stupid decisions that he had last year. Because when you have the talent that team has and when you invested the money that team invested in this offseason, if he continues to make those dumb decisions that cost them games, they're not going to stick with him.
Great defensive guy. I'm just not sure if he's cut out to be a head coach.
And then the other coach that might shock everybody is Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. He was on the hot seat last year and got Cincinnati to the Super Bowl. Anything less at this point is going to be considered a failure. And if Cincinnati was one of those teams that had what they call kind of those breakout seasons, you kind of start to see that team regress a little bit. He's going to be on the hot seat again too, just because it could be considered one of those one-year flukes where the team just got hot and peaked at the right time and nothing else is going to matter after that.
And you know, Stack Guy makes a lot of sense because now these coaches in all of these professional leagues now, they have such a short leash. If you don't succeed and if you don't win enough games and if you don't meet that team's standards, you will be out of a job and you will be standing in the unemployment line.
Don't forget New York Jets. Did you mention the New York Jets head coach?
I don't think Salah's on the hot seat just because of the draft that the Jets had this year. Next year, I think you can put him on the hot seat, but the Jets did have a great draft, especially in the first round.
How about Denver Broncos?
Yeah, heck yeah.
You got Russell Wilson coming into Denver thinking you can do something, and if you don't succeed with Denver, you're gonna have to be on the hot seat as well.
And I think Kyle Shanahan should be on the hot seat this year in San Francisco too, because Trey Lance was drafted number 4 for a reason. At what point are you going to go with him and get rid of Jimmy G?
Nah, I don't see Kyle Shanahan been on the hot seat though. He's too good of a coach to be.
Is he? Look at his career record.
Yeah,
he's a 500 coach. He might even be under 500 as a head coach. He had a one good year that San Francisco got to the Super Bowl, and outside of that, he's been hovering right around 500 the rest of his NFL tenure as a head coach. And even last year, they were a 9-8 team last year.
I think if the 49ers had a good quarterback, he would flourish.
He's 40. Kyle Shanahan is 39-42 as a head coach. And that's because he went 12-4 the year they went to the Super Bowl. So take that out of the equation. He's 11 games under 500 as a head coach. Shanahan really hasn't done much as a head coach outside of that first year that they went to the Super Bowl. And you're supposed to be like the greatest offensive coordinator of our generation, coming from your dad's coaching tree and kind of coming from the West Coast style of offense, and yet you're at 11 games under 500 if you take that 12-4 season out of the equation. He's got to be on the hot seat this year just because San Francisco has the talent to consistently make deep playoff runs, and they just can't do it with Shanahan.
And the Rams are standing in their way.
It's not only the Rams, it's Arizona too last year. Arizona passed them up last year too.
Yeah. Hey, that's me being a homer right here.
I got a name for you, a huge name, Pete Carroll.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
No.
Pete Carroll gets a pass this year because Russell Wilson is not there.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Pete Carroll.
He gets a pass knowing how much success he's had with Seattle, where this was the first time in 9 years that they didn't make the playoffs last year because Wilson was hurt for 8 or 9 games, and now you don't have Wilson this year. He gets a pass this year to kind of rebuild that roster up.
I think he's gonna retire eventually. Anyway.
Yeah, he'll retire before he gets fired.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this upcoming year and how these coaches do, pan out. And like you said, what comes of it at the end of the season and what if any coaches are fired or hired. I really do think McCarthy truly is on the hot seat there in Dallas. And I do think that Sean Payton, if his availability is there, really does, accelerate that firing.
Keep dreaming.
Hey. The world was built on dreams, homie.
Was it?
Yes. Lots of dreams.
Oh. All right. I didn't know because I be dreaming of being a millionaire, and I'm still poor.
Well, it doesn't mean you don't have to go out there and make the dream come true, crazy.
Oh, I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
You've been dreaming of being a millionaire, so have I.
See?
Keep playing the lottery. Keep playing the lottery.
And he lives in LA, where he has a shot to actually be like a movie actor or something, or a stunt double or something.
Listen, if a man can't even fix a simple suede pair of shoes, what good is he?
That's a good one, Jay. I have to give it to you. That's a good one.
I've been waiting for that all day, and he just walked right into it.
It's that guy, Houston, Texas. Is Lovey on the hot seat?
Hell no. Look at the situation Lovey's in. Lovey knows why he was hired. Lovey is basically the placeholder in Houston until Houston can figure out who they want to be a head coach, and he's the placeholder in Houston until they can get their next franchise quarterback. He's probably only going to be the head coach there for 2 years, and I think he understands that. I think
that was in a conversation, behind closed doors with Lovie Smith and the Texas organization. Like, they really, I don't think they put it that bluntly, but do you think that, that they basically said, hey, Lovie, we need you here for a couple of years till we figure out this organization?
No, they put it bluntly.
Yeah.
They put it bluntly, Lovie Smith, basically saying, you're not our guy for the future, but you're our guy in the short term to get us to where we want to be. So he knows his position, he knows his place. It's more of he's just going there as the placeholder to get everybody back on the same page, to build that system, to build that culture that they had before Bill O'Brien got there and Gary Kubiak was the head coach, and kind of that culture that Gary Kubiak established when he was there. And once Lovie Smith gets that culture reestablished, Houston's going to move on from him, and I think he knows that, and I think he's okay with that because he's going to be almost 70 years old by the time that happens.
Yeah.
Lovie Smith is just a head coach, so Houston didn't get in trouble like the Giants did. Just saying.
Yeah.
Gonzo, what's up, you old bastard?
What's up, man?
What's up,
How you
Gonzo?
doing?
Not doing too bad. Finally got back to the house, had an appointment, and had some stuff I had to take care of. How you guys doing?
Good.
That's no excuse, Chris. You're grounded.
Chris.
Hey, listen, Frankie's got some really boring points to bring up real quick. So, Stat Guy, if you want to go bring your daughter, she probably can get that second nap that she had yesterday.
He's at Grandma's house.
I'm bringing up boring points, Jay. I'm bringing up points from the top of my head. You have to actually use a week to bring up topics. Shut your mouth and know your
Hey,
role.
there is nothing wrong with using instrumentation to come up with.
Shut your mouth and know your role, you old bastard. Chris, so we were talking about head coaches in the NFL in the hot seat. But before I go to that for your question, I want to get your take on how do you think about the All-Star this. Well, it's supposed to be a weekend, but it's really not the weekend, but because of the pushback of the MLB. But how did you take it this week?
Well, I enjoyed it. I thought the home run derby was pretty good. I thought last year's was a little bit better, but I would like the home run derby this year because I picked the right guy, Soto. All-Star game wasn't too bad. You had the first inning where the National League scored some runs, and then after that, the American League shut them down. And there wasn't a whole lot of action late in the game, but it was fun to watch. I like how they had the players mic'd up, and when the Yankees pitcher was pitching, they were talking to him while he was pitching. He was telling them what pitches he was throwing and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he made a weird pitch.
Cool.
He made a weird pitch. You guys seen it? Like he did he had his one leg up. He did a swing to second base, swing back again, and then do a sidearm fastball. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, mister?
There was no way that wasn't a balk.
You want to know what? You want to know what pitcher I want to see get mic'd up is Max Scherzer.
Yeah, I'd love to see Max.
Just because of how he is on the mound and just like how intense he is on the mound, I just want to see him get mic'd up and like what his thought process is.
Could you imagine if you would have been able to get like John Rocker mic'd up back in the day? Because John Rocker was off the chain.
Or
he was off the
chain. They should have mic'd up Clayton Kershaw because they looked like they were having real fun in the beginning of the All-Star there, with Ohtani getting the first hit, and then he got Ohtani out with a little fake, thinking he was going to pitch him, and actually threw it to first base, and Ohtani got caught with it. And they looked like they were having a good time. I would have loved to see what they were saying.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a few more pitchers get mic'd up as well. It would have been nice to see Sandy Alcantara mic'd up too.
I think baseball should do more of that, having some players mic'd up a little bit.
Blame the Houston Astros for why they can't.
Wait, say that again?
I said blame the Houston Astros why we can't have mic'd up baseball players.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. The guy never leaves out of his freaking chair. All he does is sit there and just type on it. Nobody takes it. You know what?
That's lies. He just came back from vacation, Jay.
Man, shots are fired. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna take that. It's okay because look, if you can use cell phones with the Yankees, you can use mic'd up with this. Whatever. It's all good. It's all good. I don't.
Jay got nothing to say. He always got to come back to the Yankees.
Well, I'm just saying it's very non-original on that guy's part to talk about the Astros when he knows damn good and well that the Yankees did the same shit. They may not have the most advanced technology like we did, but they still did the same shit. But yet, nobody ever wants to go left or nobody wants to go right to Boston, and what Boston was doing over there. So,
You sound like a big man child right now. You're crying.
Hey, at the end of the day, man, where's that guy's team? Probably still sitting in the basement.
They are half game out of the basement.
Gonzo, we named a couple coaches that might be on the hot seat this year. I brought up Baltimore Ravens head coach. Stat Guy brought up like 10 head coaches. Jay brought up Mike McCarthy. Who gets your eye on being on the hot seat this year that should have a chance?
I think Frank Reich with Indianapolis is on the hot seat because he vouched for Wentz last year. That didn't work out. If he don't work out with Matt Ryan, I think he might be out the door. I really do. I think he hasn't done with all the talent he hasn't done much with it. We didn't make the playoffs last year. We did make it the year before, but lost to Buffalo because he didn't know how to kick a field goal. So Frank Reich is one. I do think Mike McCarthy as well. Only thing about Mike McCarthy is that Jerry Jones, you never know with him. Sometimes he's quick to pull the leash on a coach, and other times, look how long it took him to fire Jason Garrett. So that's the only thing about Mike McCarthy. I think any other ones off the top. Arizona's coach, Kingsbury. I think if Arizona don't do something, that there'd be a good chance that he might be gone.
Yeah.
That's not bad. What about and nobody even mentioned Green Bay Packers. Mike LaFleur or Flair, whatever you say his name.
I don't think he's quite on the hot seat just yet.
No,
I mean, he was in the talks of getting rid of Devontae Adams and paid money to Aaron Rodgers. So
if LaFleur makes the playoffs again this year and fails, he will be on the hot seat next year. You cannot go into the playoffs with a top 2 record in the NFC 4 straight years and come away with nothing. If they have like another 1 or 2 seed in the playoffs this year and it's an early exit in the playoffs, he'll be on the hot seat next year regardless of.
Then he should have been on the hot seat last year because you made it to the NFC Championship, lost to Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, and then you make it this year to the playoffs, first round bye, best record in NFL, and you get beat by the San Francisco 49ers. He should have been on the hot seat. And he had Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers during that point.
I would say definitely with the Tampa Bay situation for real because you passed up on that 4th down and chose to kick that field goal, and that was all she wrote for that. So that's a good.
And you let San Francisco come back on you last year. You were up 13-0.
Yeah, 16-13. What was the final score?
Yeah, 16-13 San Fran. So you were up 13-0 and you let them come back in second half. You were blowing them out first half. You let them come back second half to win the game by 3. I mean, he should have been on the hot seat. Stat Guy, so. You're disappointing me, Stat Guy. You're disappointing me.
I think so too. That Aaron Rodgers took a lot of that hot seat with him, and that kind of took the attention off LaFleur.
Aaron Rodgers didn't take any of that hot seat with him. He just signed for $250 million.
I get that he didn't take any of that hot seat from his team because he's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, if you look at that quarterback landscape right now, who else are you going to get? But if you're talking about his legacy, if we're talking about what Aaron Rodgers is as a football player, as a quarterback in the National Football League, you got everybody now questioning the way you rank Aaron Rodgers, especially when it comes to postseason play. Let's just keep it real. Aaron Rodgers has lost a lot of his flair. He's lost a lot of his mystique because people now are equipping Aaron Rodgers as just a regular season player. Now you hear people say, when I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers, I'm basing Aaron Rodgers' play off regular season. They don't even think about postseason because he's done nothing in the postseason.
They're now comparing Aaron Rodgers to James Harden.
That's all I'm saying. So if we're talking about impact, Aaron Rodgers took a lot of that hot seat.
Let's switch it up. Let's switch it up a bit. Keeping on the same thing with hot takes, with hot seats. NBA though. NBA, which head coach is on the hot seat? Because I seen a thing where if Doc Rivers doesn't succeed this year with Philly,
on the hot seat,
yes, I heard that he might be gone from Philly after this year if he doesn't succeed with them. I want some of your guys' thoughts on who you think might be on the hot seat if they don't succeed, and who might be fired. I don't even want hot seats. I want who might be fired. Jay, go first, Jay. I love your points.
Well, I could definitely say that, Doc Rivers in Philadelphia, if he don't get something going with that, with that squad over there, I don't like Doc. I just feel like, he needs to get something going. He's had ample enough time to build a championship team, and yet every year they always come up a day late and a dollar short. Now, yes, they do have injuries and things like that, but still, man, come on, it's time to do something. I kind of want to see what they do with Harden too, because now that Harden has redone his, or got out of that contract, how much do they bring him back for, things like that, and where they go with Harden? That should be interesting. But again, I think Brooklyn's got to be on the hot seat. I mean, I don't know, man. What do you do with Steve Nash? I mean, he's not really even a damn coach, and they don't even see him as a coach. So, should he be on the hot seat at that point and find somebody who they will recognize as a head coach, somebody that can give direction back to the Brooklyn Nets? For the love of God, if there's a team out there that needs direction, it's the Brooklyn freaking Nets. So, again, I think they're another team. I think, I don't think Spoelstra's necessarily on the hot seat, but Miami needs to start, doing something as well. So, there's a couple of teams over on the east side. I think they'll be on the hot seat. On the other side, I don't know, man. I mean, I think the West is pretty much okay. The one guy that I would have put on the hot seat probably would have been the Utah Jazz coach, but he already left the team, so you really can't put him on the hot seat. But that's really kind of where I see probably where that's at right at this point.
How can you guys not name Tom Thibodeau? I think Tom Thibodeau is on the hot seat in New York. This guy was, seen as a top coach, in the NBA. Defensive-minded coach, and it just hasn't worked out in New York. I know New York's a dumpster fire. I know New York hasn't really done a good job as far as...
You mean the team, right? You mean the team, right? Say the Knicks. Say the Knicks. Don't say New York. Say Knicks.
The Knicks. There you go.
My state.
There you go. The Knicks haven't done a good job putting a winning product on the floor. But I think Tom Thibodeau is definitely on the hot seat.
You almost made me cry there, John. He's talking about my state, man. I'm about to cry.
But no, when it comes to Thibodeau, though, I mean, there's a lack of direction in New York, just like there's a lack of direction in Brooklyn. I mean, those guys are, I mean, I understand your viewpoint with Thibodeau.
Yeah, he's seen as a top NBA coach,
Yeah.
They just haven't, unfortunately, been able to put it together.
And I don't think so much a coach thing, or if that's an upper manager, or like an ownership thing, because there just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of clear direction, or hasn't been a clear direction for quite some time with New York.
Well, it's a combination of both. If you're gonna coach there, you got to be willing to face the challenges that comes with it, because it's a tough and stressful job. Coaching in New York, coaching the Knicks is not the easiest job in the world.
In Jim Ross' words, is not for the weak at heart.
When he took that job, and look what he got himself into. Now he's on the hot seat. It's not all his fault. He's in the same situation that Frank Vogel was here in Los Angeles.
I got one for you guys. Mike Malone.
Yeah, but I was going to say Mike Malone.
Mike Malone. You've had a player that's been MVP for the past 2 years, consecutive MVP, and you guys have done absolutely nothing. I mean,
Well,
I understand they've been going through injuries, but let's be honest. I mean, is Jamal Murray really going to be that big of a difference? So I just think Mike Malone right now, he's going to be on the hottest of seats. If Denver makes it to the playoffs this year, and which I think they will, and they get eliminated again in the first or second round, yeah, it's going to be a lot of eyes on Mike Malone. It's not going to be on Jokic. It's going to be on the coach.
and then also, I think Monty Williams with the Suns after the collapse they had last year, and they haven't really had the success in the playoffs with the talent the much success that they should have had. If they if they get eliminated from the playoffs quick this year, I think he could be gone.
Ooh,
And I think the same thing with Mike Budenholzer in Milwaukee.
Ooh,
Well, he was on the hot seat.
He was on the hot seat the year that he won the championship, where they've said if he did not win the NBA Finals that year, they were going to part ways with him.
Exactly.
Then he goes and wins the Finals, comes back last year and loses to Boston. I think he's on the hot seat to get back to the Finals this year.
He can thank Giannis for saving his job because Giannis was on a historical run that year.
You know what? You know who else you can thank? He can thank KD's little itty bitty toe for being on the line.
He can thank KD for that one too. You're right, because that could have changed the whole scenario right there.
Oh, think if Brooklyn would have beat them in Game 7.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't even made it to last year.
He would have been fired. Mike would have been out of a coaching job. No question.
That was a good one, Stat Guy. What's up, Chris?
Like up that guy.
I'm hearing Nate McMillan too, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one.
I'm gonna give y'all the James Brown impersonate. Remember, he was drunk doing that interview. Hello, Ted. I still go watch that interview to this day. Oh my God, that was classic. He said, "I feel good. I look good. I smell good. I make love good." Oh man, you gotta love James Brown. Rest in peace to the Godfather. So, I'm telling you, if you haven't watched this interview, go just put in James Brown drunk interview. And when I tell y'all, that is some of the that's great American classic comedy right there. What's up though, man? NFL time, y'all.
Yes, NFL kickoff is 50 days away.
Yes, sir.
50 days and counting.
I am excited.
And I'm excited as well. I cannot wait to see how bad the Chicago Bears are going to play.
Oh, they're going to be horrible.
I'm excited because now we're going to have something to look forward to on Sundays, Thursdays, and Mondays.
Besides Monday Night Raw.
I'm just exactly. I'm just excited, just to piss my wife off every Sunday and be like, I'm not taking care of the kids. It's my day.
You know what? I already pissed mine off by taking over the TV.
I do that. Mine's too. She's like, oh, I say, put something on. She goes, well, I don't have the remote. I go, oh, here you go.
We should have a weekly National Man's Day on Sundays. Don't buy on Sundays.
Oh,
that's
everybody
right.
knows.
Not disturb. I'm gonna
everybody
put a
knows the Colts play at 1 o'clock. If you want to get with me on Sunday, you better get with me before 1 o'clock.
Us man, we all need a man cave like Chris.
I'm not answering my phone. You're not going to get a hold of me.
Look, I'm up here checking my FanDuel.
Yeah.
She hates me because I'm always on fantasy football.
Either looking at my FanDuel.
Hey, speaking of that,
yep, fantasy football on my phone, and then I'm looking at my sports book my bet tickets from the sports book because me and Dad usually run to the casino Sunday morning before the games. So I'm looking at those. I'm on my phone for fantasy football and then 2 TVs.
Speaking of fantasy football, I propose an idea of doing an ASAP in the morning fantasy football league in which we also have a draft right here on ASAP in the morning, and we keep up with the stats throughout the year as long as keeping up with the real-time stats going on in the NFL. That's just an idea. You're
throwing too much idea, actually.
You're throwing too much numbers at me.
Interested in fantasy football. I don't play fantasy sports.
I like numbers. Numbers are fun.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm too much of a pothead. You're throwing too much numbers at me. You're saying stats here, stats there, and then when you say stats, you just give that to one man and one man only.
Frankie, you're not the only pothead in the group.
I know I'm not, but I'm saying you're throwing.
You're not the only one.
I'm definitely the biggest one. I know that for sure.
I don't know about that one either.
I'm rolling up and sparking up from the moment I wake up to the moment I sleep. You guys are at work right now.
Hey, no, I'm actually working from home today. That's also on my.
Oh, all right. So today we're all. So today we're all.
Man, hey, what is today? National Work from Home Day?
I don't work, so I'm always at home.
I'm working from home today.
I just realized why Jonathan.
I work. I just don't do a job like that. I work here at the house.
I'm off for the summer, so.
Hold on. I just realized why Jonathan was so excited throughout the most of summer, and why I'm starting to see the excitement taper off. And that's because the same thing for my wife. School is about to start back up.
Same thing for my wife.
August 22nd for us.
Yeah. The free ride's almost over. Back to school. Back to work.
Work with the kids once again.
Damn little bastard.
Hey, you should see how I look when I get up in the morning to get ready for work, and then my wife is just turning over in the bed. I should just elbow drop you. You know, I'm up here getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and she's like, stretching out, turning over. You know, especially too that make the bed look so comfortable when you get out of it. You like, Lord,
man, you know what you got to do? I've always thought about doing this, but I know that Mel would kill me. But I've often thought about when I was going to work, I would just say, as I'm going out the door, I'm just going to throw a bucket of water on her ass while she's still in bed, and then I'm going to haul ass to the car.
I have a picture of what Jonathan does every school year in the morning. He wakes up, he gets upset because he has to wake up. He showers, he gets his coffee. He's talking his shit before he gets into that school. He's like, damn, the hell with these damn kids. I wish I wasn't here with them. I have my own kids to support. Now I got to come here and teach these little bastards something. And then he walks into class and he's like, good morning. Good morning, Nathan. Good morning, Sarah.
How was your summer? What did you do?
Yep, see, there's and there's Mel, the other one that can.
I heard that. Now listen, what he really does is makes me a cup of coffee, makes sure my MacBook is charged, and helps me get all my stuff in the car.
That's what you do.
That's what he really does.
You gotta tell it like it is, Mel.
I heard that. I was in the bedroom reading a book. I was like, no way. Let me tell these guys what this great man really does.
Hey Jay, don't feel bad because my wife walked out from the room too and looked at me and said, "Don't be talking about me."
hey, but let me keep it real. When she leaves out that door, I'll be talking some shit.
He's talking to the dog.
You know what?
I talk to you all the time.
I'm gonna get Mel and Jonathan a shirt that just says FTK, F them kids. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, I could be a teacher. I don't think I had the patience to deal with kids. I barely have patience for Frankie. I can't even imagine for kids.
Oh, you did so good on career day.
Oh, damn it, Mel. Shut up.
You have to have a lot of patience to work in education.
Oh, no, you do.
I make Jay cry a lot. Imagine what those little kids will do to Jay.
Man, hey, listen, all I know is dealing with Frank and Pride, man, it keeps my psychologist in business, man, because that therapy is expensive.
How much you pay Blue an hour?
I literally realized that when I walk into therapy, I sit down in the chair, and the first thing out of the therapist's mouth is, well, how's everything going with Frankie and Pride? And I said, well, let me tell you.
Let me tell you, this just went from a 1 hour session to a 3 hour session. So strap in, Doc.
You give Blue. Hey Jay, do you give Blue a beer about every hour?
Man, Blue drinks a lot.
Because he has to listen to you talk shit.
Hey, you know what's interesting? Real quick. I tell you, whenever I go to the beer pub, or there's a brewery actually we go to. It's a small brewery, and they allow you to bring your pets in with you. And me and Blue, once a weekend, we'll go up there, and Mel will go up there, and we'll sit down, and Blue will sit down. Well, now he's gotten to the point where Blue now will sit there next to me, and then he'll put his paws, because he's a big dog, he'll put his paws on the bar, stare the bartender in the face, and say, "Where's my beer?" He's gotten to that point where he does that. Literally, and I think it freaked her out at first, but now she puts a beer there.
I used to have a boxer that was like that. If I went to the refrigerator to get a beer, she'd be looking at me like, "Where's mine at?" She'd want some of that.
Yeah, old Blue loves some beer now. Hey, that dog put he put a good. He probably put a pitcher back before I got to carry him out, or drag him out in this case. But yeah, good times.
All right, well, we're to the end of our show. Does anybody got any final things they want to say?
Go Astros!
Subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my fan page on Facebook.
Yes, and if you're a Seattle Mariners fan, please go like his Twitter as well.
If any of you guys want to jump on the afternoon show at 1 o'clock, you're more than welcome to.
I'll be on tomorrow, Chris.
I'll jump on the show today. Probably, Chris.
Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow as well, Chris. I'll be back on Thursday. I gotta take care of some business here in a minute, but I'll be back on Thursday for sure.
Gee, we don't need to know about your quickie sex life.
Hey, Jonathan, you coming on tonight?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right.
Oh, and Dustin, not to put your business out there. All you gotta know is from me, prayers, my brother. Just know the ASAP family is with you always, bro.
Yep.
Thanks.
I echo that sentiment.
Fuck you, Dustin. Love you.
You gotta love Frankie the Yankee.
Dustin already know he makes my nipples hard.
And ladies and gentlemen, this has been ASAP in the morning.
Yes. This has been ASAP in the morning.
When I hear Frankie the Yankee, I think of the rapper Yankee Daddy.
His name is Daddy Yankee. Daddy Yankee is his name.
Well, Daddy Yankee, you know
one.
who I'm talking about.
I understand what you're saying.
Hey, I like some of his music though. It's pretty good.
Well, thank you.
That gasolina.
Oh my God! All right, we definitely gotta go. Rob's starting to feel the effects. This is ASAP in the morning, everybody. Catch us again tomorrow. We'll be back 10 a.m. Eastern time. Hopefully, we'll get everything under control with a better panel, because these guys are some weirdos over here. These guys are just going crazy.
We love you too, Frankie.
They're just going insane. Also, you can catch us on Unscripted tomorrow night. Me and Jay will be going at it. Astros Yankees doubleheader. First game's at 1:10 p.m. Eastern time. Second game 6:40.
Looking forward to that show tomorrow.
Yes, it's going to be really entertaining.
Have your popcorn ready, ladies and gents.
Yes. I gotta go get the jersey out of the cleaners. It's gonna be caliente.
I think I'm going to drink a couple Blue Moons while listening to you guys.
I'm definitely going to be participating in some cloud surfing.
I'll be doing that too as well, Rob.
When Jay said he got to pick up his jersey from the cleaners, he means that he's got to go take it out of the closet because it's getting nothing but cobwebs right now.
That's rough. That's okay. You know what, Frankie, man? It's okay because tomorrow, oh, sweet Jesus.
We're going to need them.
Can we put a wager on this series, please?
I know. We need something.
I'm not pride. Let me tell you, Jay already tried getting me to shave my head with the Yankees.
Oh, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with shaving heads.
Hey, y'all can bet shots for all I care.
The loser has to wear the other team's jersey.
The loser has to wear the other team's jersey.
That would be nice.
No, I already did that. For him with the Cowboys.
It was beautiful watching Frankie at West Pump with a Dallas Cowboys shirt on, and he was just looking pissed.
I missed that. I wish I got to see that.
I was driving. I had a sweater on, and Jay got upset. He's like, he goes, Frankie, take that goddamn sweater off right now. Let's see if you got that damn shirt. And I'm driving. I'm like, damn it, Jay, I'm driving. So I'm taking the seatbelt off. I take the sweater off. I'm like lifting up so he can see it. He's like, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm just like, tears in my eyes.
So you represent that Cowboy star.
Damn right.
You know what's funny? It wasn't even a goddamn NFL bet. It was a goddamn college football playoff bet. I picked Notre Dame to beat a team, and they freaking lost it for me.
Dude, I will tell you.
Hey, quick tip for quick advice: never bet on a team that's not yours.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. But yeah, catch us tomorrow morning, guys. It's gonna be a good one. Thank you to Chris Gons jumping in, Jay McLovin, Rob Scott, Stat Guy, and Jonathan. You guys have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're out in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.